I think we are live. I hope you guys are all doing well out there this Saturday, and I hope you guys are all having a great weekend as well. We are going to be covering a potential tornado outbreak, especially as we get into the next couple of hours. And the good news is that things haven't gotten worse just yet, but as we do get into the later evening hours, this is when I do think we will see the potential for some pretty big showers and even some thunderstorms rolling on through. So it will be something to really keep an eye on closely, as I do think there's some pretty good shots that we could be seeing some pretty good showers and thunderstorms rolling on through as we get into the later afternoon hours and as well as into the evening hours. So make sure you are paying attention out there, as I do think this is going to be one of our bigger severe weather events that we've seen this winter, and we could also be seeing some life-threatening flooding as well, especially over there in the Tennessee and lower Ohio Valley, as this is also going to really start ramping up as we head into the later afternoon hours and even into the early evening hours. So let's first start off, if my thing will work. Seems to be a little slow today, which I apologize about that. But we are once again going to be tracking some pretty good showers and thunderstorms, especially as we get into the afternoon hours today. As you can see, pretty much lining up right there. So this will be something to keep an eye on very closely, as I do think we are going to be tracking some pretty big chances for showers and thunderstorms, like I said, so that will be something to watch there. Let's see if this will even load. I'm surprised my computer is frozen today. Wasn't expecting this. Here, just hold on a second. I'm just gonna see if I can get this to work. Oh, okay. I see what's going on now. Um, I'm just surprised my computer is frozen for today. Like I said, I was not expecting this at all. I'm just trying to see if I can get it to work and have it do its thing, because it's not even moving at all. We might need to delay the stream for a second, guys. I apologize for the inconvenience. There we go. It's working now, finally. But anyway, once again, tracking some chances for showers and thunderstorms as we get into the afternoon hours for today, which will likely bring chances for some pretty big flooding and also severe weather down there across the lower Ohio Valley and Tennessee River Valley. And we could even be seeing chances for even some pretty big severe weather down there across the Mississippi River, especially areas like Arkansas. So we will keep an eye on that very closely, as I do think things are going to really start ramping up over the next few hours, and that heavy rain is going to continue to move eastward into places like Ohio, even central and eastern Kentucky. So that will be another area to watch for, and then we might even be seeing some backside snow with that system as well. So we will need to keep an eye on it, as I do think we could be seeing some of that. But keep in mind, though, that the ground's going to be so wet that I don't think the snow is going to be sticking around on the backside. But if it does, though, it could potentially cause a little bit of issues. But overall, though, I think the snowfall isn't going to be too bad, given the fact that that snow is going to melt on contact, as we will still have water on the ground by tomorrow morning. Let's see here. Shaken Blake, what's up, buddy? Doing good. Thanks for joining my live stream. Let's see here. Thanks for joining me, George Smith. Let's see. Weather with Sim Thursday morning at 1:45 Eastern Time. I heard what sounded like bomb going off. It was thunder. What causes it to be so loud? So for it to be really loud, it's pretty much the amount of instability that's around, and it also depends on the charge, because there's the these little things that kind of look like hail, which is called grapple, that collides with a other charge. I think it's a positive charge. It's pretty much the grapple colliding with the snowflakes, and that what creates that thunder charge, and depending on how strong the charge is can determine on how strong the lightning strike gets. That's a really good question, by the way, but it's mainly caused by how strong the charge gets, which is mainly caused by the frozen precipitation in the atmosphere rubbing against each other, creating that charge. So that's why, my friend, that's probably why it was so loud, is because the charge was really strong due to grapple and also snowflakes and stuff like that colliding with each other, which is what creates the electric charge. But anyway, we will be tracking that as we get into tomorrow morning, and then after that, most of that should be out of here by tomorrow, and we will likely be tracking some pretty big snowfall across the northeast for tomorrow. So we will need to keep an eye on that closely, as the storm is going to be heading into the northeast tomorrow. So yeah, we will keep an eye on that storm tomorrow, as well as freezing rain, heavy snow, and even some sleet does look to be a possibility as we get into tomorrow, and as well as into Monday especially. And then after that, most of that should be over by the beginning of next week, and then we could be seeing another winter storm after that. But as of right now, our main focus is going to be today, as we will likely be seeing not only severe weather but also life-threatening flooding, which is what we're going to be going over next. So if we show you guys what we can expect with the flood risk for today, I'm going to go ahead and refresh this tab. There we go. We do have an enhanced risk for severe weather down there in the deep south. This includes places like Alabama, back over there into the panhandle of Florida, even over there into much there Mississippi, central and eastern Louisiana, into eastern and southeastern Arkansas, and as well as western Tennessee, including the Memphis region, will all be included in this enhanced risk as we head throughout today. And even this marginal risk even extends all the way up there into Kentucky, so this will be a pretty big area to watch for, especially as we get into tonight, given the fact that we will not only be seeing chances for strong tornadoes, especially where you see this hatch color, but even that 10% chance for tornadoes even gets pretty close to the Tennessee and Kentucky border right there. So even if you live in Kentucky, which thankfully isn't under the highest tornado threat for today, but I still expect areas like Kentucky to still have a shot of seeing some pretty good thunderstorms for today, which could maybe see some chances for tornadoes. But I think damaging wind is what's going to even be the bigger concern, as we do have a 45% chance for damaging winds in this pink color that you see, which includes Mississippi, back over there into Alabama. So definitely an interesting area there that we'll need to watch for, and of course we might even see some large hail, but overall the main concern is going to be those chances for damaging winds, as we do have a really good shot of seeing winds between 60 to 70 miles per hour. So now is a good time to be paying attention out there, as we could be seeing a derecho potentially. And just to show you guys that again on the HRRR model, I don't know if you guys saw this, but you guys can see how we're going to be seeing a pretty big line of showers and thunderstorms rolling on through by the time we get into tonight. And this pretty much heads from Mississippi all the way up there into Kentucky, where strong damaging winds and small hail will be possible, but we can't rule out even a few embedded tornadoes in this, which could potentially lead to some pretty big impacts, guys. Not only will we be seeing chances for severe storms with this line as it rolls on through, but we could also be seeing life-threatening flash flooding, as we do have a rare high risk for flash flooding across central and western Kentucky, back down there into northwestern Tennessee, and as well as extreme northeastern Arkansas, all under the gun for life-threatening flooding for today, as anywhere from 4 to 8 inches of rainfall will be possible, as the latest from the National Weather Service is calling for right around 4 to 6 inches of rainfall right across Murray, even up there in Hopkinsville, even over there in the Bowling Green, Elizabethtown. But I still think areas as far north as like southern Indiana, including areas between Evansville and Louisville, might be seeing anywhere from 3 to 4 inches of rain. But it's especially going to be down there across northwest Tennessee, central and western Kentucky, and as well as eastern Kentucky, all seeing those chances for life-threatening flooding, as we even got some of those alerts already in effect. And just to show you guys that, so that you guys understand, if we click on one of these flash flood warnings, you guys can see that about 5 inches of rainfall has fallen right there in western Kentucky, pretty close to the Hopkinsville area. And if we look at this, life-threatening flooding caused by very heavy rainfall, and it looks like about 3 inches have fallen, but another 2 to 4 inches is possible in the Warren area. So that just goes to show you guys that life-threatening flooding is going to be likely as the system continues to roll on through, especially as we get into the evening hours. So make sure to do that if you haven't done that already. And of course, even areas down there in places like Nashville could also experience some. Let's see here. Thanks for I was Sam. Oh, you're welcome, George. Thanks for joining me. Let's see here. I live in North Georgia. Yeah, North Georgia. If you want to know the weather forecast for your area, North Georgia, thankfully isn't going to be in the worst of the flooding today, but you could still be seeing anywhere from 1 to 3 inches of rainfall. So you still may be seeing a little bit there, and of course we may even be seeing a little bit of severe weather, as that marginal risk does clip a little bit there of North Georgia. So some isolated damaging winds, isolated large hail, and a little bit of isolated flooding may develop, but overall it looks like the severe weather threat is mainly going to be staying to your east, and west, especially mainly going to be staying to your west and north. So you're thankfully going to be in the clear today. And we also gotta be paying attention even as we get into next week. While there still isn't very many warnings around, because I did turn on the warnings, including tornado warnings, and it doesn't look like we have any severe thunderstorm warnings or tornado warnings issued just yet. But just to show you guys that, like I said, that squall line isn't going to roll on through till the evening hours. So while we still got some time before this event happens, let's go ahead and talk about what we can expect as we get into next week, because I kind of wanted to give you guys a heads up that as we get into next week, we could be seeing a pretty big snowstorm around, especially as we get into Wednesday of next week. We're talking areas like southern Illinois, southern Indiana, all of Kentucky, all of Tennessee, even northern Georgia, pretty good portion there of the higher elevations in North Carolina. So these will be areas to really be on the lookout for as we get into the middle of next week. And just to show you guys how concerning this is, look at that European model showing over a foot of snowfall across the entire state of Kentucky, all of southern Indiana, all of southern Ohio, all of Virginia, all of Delaware, all of Maryland, all of West Virginia, even much there of Missouri getting around a foot of snowfall. So this could potentially be historic, guys, as we get into next week, given the fact that a lot of these areas, especially across the lower Ohio Valley, will likely have a shot of seeing that. And just to show you guys even a closer view of that, really going to be seeing that. Like I said, this is going to be really crazy, especially as we get into next week. And because it's occurring farther down to the south, that's the reason why the system could potentially be historic, given the fact that we typically don't get very much snowfall for areas south of Indianapolis. Usually areas along and north of Indianapolis would usually see some pretty good snowfall of around a foot or snow, but since we're going to be seeing the snowstorm track a little farther down to the south than Indianapolis, it's pretty rare, guys. It's pretty rare. But yeah, let's see here. I live in White House, Tennessee, and it finally stopped raining in and have almost 3.5 inches of rain so far. Wow. I know. I'm not surprised about that, my friend. That is actually what was forecasted. Not gonna lie, that's what was forecasted. And if we also look at the observed rainfall totals, let's go ahead and take a look at that by taking a look. Let's see, where can we look at that? I'm just trying to remember where to look at the observed rainfall. Let's actually go over here for that for right now, just to show you guys that. Let's see, we're going to go over to the observations, observed precipitation. Okay, so it turns out that areas down there in Tennessee, we're going to go ahead and take a zoom and view on that just so that way you guys can see a little bit better. But you guys can see that areas down there in Tennessee, this is pretty much the observed rainfall for the past 24 hours. And you are right, my friend. Some areas, including your area, has seen over about 3 inches of rainfall, especially the northwestern part of Tennessee. But even parts there of southern Kentucky have even seen over 1 to 3 inches of rainfall. But even areas farther to the north, like Indiana, Illinois, even pretty good portion there of northern Kentucky, even saw some pretty good rain. So yeah, definitely quite interesting how we already picked up quite a bit. And once again, more rainfall is still to come once again, especially if we show you guys the ARRR model again, as widespread rain and heavy rain is likely to overspread the entire region as we get into the evening hours today, as we're going to have that big squall line rolling on through, bringing chances for not only damaging winds, but also for more life-threatening flooding. And I would not be surprised if even areas as far north as Evansville and Louisville even experienced some flooding later today, given the fact that this rain is going to be very heavy non-stop. This is going to be lasting for not only a very long time, but also will be bringing a lot of heavy downpours, guys. So this is something to be aware about. Even though you may not have experienced flooding yet, you still got to be paying attention, as I do think the evening hours today could get very intense with not only a lot of widespread heavy rainfall across the entirety of the Ohio River Valley, but also a very long squall line potentially bringing chances for widespread damaging winds. So that's going to be the biggest concern as we get into the evening hours, like I said. Now's a good time to be paying attention. So that will be something to watch for as we get into the evening hours today. And back over here to the radar again. This is what we're going to be tracking, like I said, as we get throughout the rest of this afternoon and even into the evening hours for today. And so we will really keep an eye on it closely, as I know we don't really look at this very often, but it just showed you guys that we got a 70% chance of seeing showers and thunderstorms anywhere from northern Louisiana all the way up there into Kentucky as we head throughout the afternoon. And then as we get into the evening hours, that big swell line is going to continue to shift eastward. And then as we get into tonight, we will likely be seeing widespread severe weather and thunderstorm activity down there across much of Alabama into Mississippi, New Orleans, Tennessee. So that just goes to show you that the chances for widespread showers and thunderstorms will be there, as even places like Evansville, Owensboro, Morganfield, Masonville, Bowling Green, Hopkinsville, Russellville, Paducah, Mayfield, Murray, Union City, even over there in Nashville, Clarksville, Dyersburg, Jackson, all those areas, including the Memphis region, will likely be experiencing a lot of showers and thunderstorms as we get into the evening hours. And once again, that's going to continue to head eastward even as we get into the evening hours today, and just going to continue to head even farther east even as we get into the nighttime hours tonight. So now is a good time to be on high alert, my friends. This is something to be taking very seriously, by the way. All right. But yeah, so that will be something to keep an eye on. Another thing that I want to look at is going to be the ensemble members. This is what's going to give us a much better idea on what to expect as we get into the future, which we are expecting some pretty good rainfall across the Lower Ohio Valley, heading down there into parts there of the mid-Mississippi Valley, like I said, as life-threatening flooding is likely going to continue. But from, now all the way throughout next week, we could also be seeing chances for some pretty good snowfall, as even the ensemble members are showing some pretty good amounts across southern Missouri, especially of around anywhere from 8 to potentially even up there towards 9 inches, guys. This is kind of crazy to look at, given the fact that we have really good member agreement on snowfall totals, which, if you're wondering what the ensemble members are, it's pretty much all members in that model showing a certain amount of snowfall. It's kind of like a bunch of models in one model that are showing that snowfall, and what the ensemble member does is it averages all of its members out and then turns that into an average snowfall, which it looks like we have really good member agreement on even places like southern Missouri, northern Arkansas, pretty good portion there, southern Illinois, southern Indiana, and as well as Kentucky, likely seeing a snowstorm even as we get into next week. So that's just a heads up for you guys, as we will likely be seeing some pretty big snow next week, and that even includes areas over there in New England that could also be seeing some snowfall next week, and even areas down there in the mid-Atlantic as well could also be seeing some pretty good snowfall next week as well. Let's see here. No snow, please. I know. I don't want to see any snowfall from now on either. I've been dealing with it plenty in my area too. I just wish it went away, but unfortunately, the groundhog was right. That winter will more than likely last for another 6 weeks. Quite impressive, by the way, because the groundhog usually is off quite a bit. Usually is off quite a bit by its prediction. So that will be another thing to keep an eye on, like I said, as we get into next week. One more thing that I want to look at before we go back to see if there's any, severe thunderstorm warnings or tornado warnings in effect is, these areas with the national blend of all models, which is pretty much averaging all the models together, not members, but averaging all the models out, including the European model. And this is what's telling us that we have really good model agreement on seeing a snowstorm across the Lower Ohio Valley, Mid-Atlantic, and as well as the Northeast. So we will need to watch this area very closely, as even areas like Ontario, even over there into Quebec, New Brunswick, will all likely see over a foot of snowfall. So now is a good time to be paying attention, like I said, as even some pretty good ice and freezing rain does appear possible, and we might even need to watch for a little bit of that even down there in the deep south. And if you haven't liked the stream yet, make sure to give this live stream a thumbs up. All of you guys who have liked this live stream so far, I really do appreciate that. But if you haven't liked the stream yet, make sure to like it, and also subscribe to the channel, as we are going to try to help spread the word out to everyone, and so that way you guys don't miss out on any future videos or live streams that we do, as we'll be talking about a lot of stuff, including not only heavy snowfall, but also widespread severe weather and also flooding, especially as we head throughout today. But yeah, so that once again will be something to really keep an eye on. Back over here to the radar again, we will once again be keeping an eye out for potentially some pretty big thunderstorms as we get into the evening hours. And once again, that's just another heads up for you guys who haven't, gotten the idea already. But even you guys down there in the deep south still need to be paying attention, as I do think some very heavy rainfall and also some pretty big severe weather is going to be possible this evening. And let's go to the radar again to see if we have anything. I'm going to turn on these warnings. And once again, we got flash flood warnings still being issued for parts of Kentucky. But it doesn't look like we have seen anything ramp up just yet. And I also want to let you guys know that I went in live right now because I am going to be doing something later today. I'm going to be doing something later today, so I'm not going to be available, but I'm at least glad I was able to go live for you guys right now, especially given the fact that we are already starting to see, the concern for flooding and severe weather start to ramp up. It's just that it hasn't started yet. So, yeah. So yeah, that's gonna be something to keep an eye on, like I said, as we head throughout today. Another thing that I want to quickly show you guys is the Atmospheric River event that is also ongoing over here in California. We do have some, life or we do have some risks for flash flooding over there in California. At least we did for the last few days. It looks like most of that atmospheric river event is over, but that's also another heads up, is that we still have some flooding issues ongoing in California, especially since the last rainfall over the past few days. So that will be something to watch for. I also do want to show you guys that we also do have some pretty good alerts also in effect for areas down there in Kentucky, as we do have some pretty good flood watches still in effect, even for areas across the Lower Ohio Valley. It looks like we got a winter storm watch now in effect for Missouri. That's actually really interesting, by the way, because that was actually not in the forecast for right now, but it does look like Missouri already starting to see a winter storm watch out, especially for areas like Joplin, even over there in the Springfield. Let's take a look at this. So, like I said, this was not really in the forecast, but it looks like there's a 50 to 70% chance of heavy snow exceeding 5 inches. So that's probably why it's issued, is because we're really concerned about snowfall totals potentially worsening. So that's why. Once again, that's really interesting. Really interesting how they issued that. And we are still kind of heading a little far out from the middle of next week. We're still heading about 4 days out from now until the middle of next week. So, if I were them, I probably wouldn't issue a winter storm warning yet. But at least it's something that we do know that we are gaining confidence for. We're gaining confidence that there will be a winter storm next week, and that's also another big problem. And once again, make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on all notifications, as we are going to try to cover the tornado outbreak as it rolls on through. We're just not sure exactly when it will roll on through, but when it does start to roll on through, though, we will likely be here for it. And It depends because, like I said, I will be busy later today. But if it does start popping up like in an hour or two, we will definitely be here for it, like I said. And so make sure to subscribe and turn on all notifications as I am expected to be here for it. But even if I'm not, don't get too upset because I'm going to be very busy this evening, like I said. And then not only that, if we also go ahead and take a look at the fire weather risk, I just wanted to remind you guys that we do have an elevated fire risk over there in parts there of Texas, especially areas like Midland, back over there towards San Angelo, and even areas up there into southeastern parts there of New Mexico, as we do have some pretty dry conditions ongoing over there. So definitely something to keep an eye on very closely, as fire weather is also going to be possible over here. But once again, main concern for today is going to be chances for severe weather over there across the mid Mississippi Valley, all the way down there into the south and southeast, and also chances for some widespread damaging winds, especially as we could be seeing widespread damaging winds between 70 to 80 miles per hour, and perhaps even some life-threatening flooding as we get into the evening hours today. Okay, let's see. Oh, another thing that we can actually talk about that I probably should have went it over earlier is a cold blast that's going to be rolling on through during the middle of next week, when we're going to have that snowfall potential around. And just to show you guys that, check this out, guys. For right now, we are doing with some warmer air, bringing chances for widespread wind, severe weather, and also for flooding, as we're going to have this warm, moist air around. As we take this forward, we're going to have a huge Arctic blast rolling on through, possibly bringing temperatures as low as 40 degrees below average in some of these areas as we get into the middle of next week. And then it looks like much of the United States will finally then start to warm up, which is what everyone wants to see, given the fact that we are thankfully, starting to warm up. And this does make sense as we will even be heading into March. So hopefully, just hopefully, that will happen right after this cold blast rolls on through. And if we compare that to the GFS model, it actually shows the same thing. If why not a much stronger warm up, which would actually be nice, because we want it to warm up. It's going to be spring pretty soon, and so we want it to warm up as we get into March. So hopefully that's the case. But before there, we will likely be seeing well below normal temperatures, especially where you see those purples. And once again, life-threatening flooding definitely likely across much of Kentucky, to say the least. Much of Kentucky and even parts there of the lower Ohio Valley will all be at risk for life-threatening flooding, as anywhere from 4 to 8 inches of rain still remains possible, especially as we get into the evening hours today. Even though 3 to 6 inches of rainfall might have fallen in some areas, there's still a chance we could see some pretty good rain. So flooding obviously isn't going to be done yet, but it's something that we still got to really be paying attention to, like I said. And if you haven't liked the stream yet, make sure to give the live stream a thumbs up and also subscribe, as it really does help support the channel. But yeah, and once again, definitely gotta watch Western Kentucky, and as well as Southern Kentucky closely, as we even got those widespread flood warnings also in effect. And if you guys got anything to leave down in the chat, feel free to do that, as I do answer any weather questions that you guys have. Whatever you guys want to leave down below, I will definitely answer them. But yeah, we also do have even some winter storm warnings also in effect for the I-95 corridor, especially areas north of North Carolina. But we even got some high wind warnings also in effect for the I-95 corridor right there. So that just goes to show that we are also dealing with some pretty big time impact along the East Coast. And we can even take a zoom in view to that. Let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and select Delaware. And let's go ahead and click that area. Let's look at the high wind warning. Wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour expected, especially where you see those golden colors indicating high wind watches and warnings, including the DC region. That's also going to be another big problem from now on. But back over here to the radar again. Let's see, we haven't looked at the storms for a little bit, so let's go ahead and select a few radars and see if anything has started popping up. And it looks like we got a few isolated supercells trying to get their acts together just to the west there of Greenville in Mississippi. So that will be an area to watch for, as we even have some pretty good thunderstorms trying to rumble up even over there into Arkansas. So something to watch for, as areas of flooding and also a little bit of isolated wind and hail will be possible this afternoon. But once again, it's especially going to be this evening, where we're going to have that severe squall line rolling on through. And of course, we even got some rain that's also going to be ongoing over here in places like southern Indiana, western Kentucky, and as well as southern Illinois, where we are seeing some widespread heavy rainfall starting to roll on through, unfortunately. But yeah, Let's see, we haven't seen a whole lot of things yet, besides the life-threatening flooding. That's really the only, thing that's been ongoing since this morning. We haven't seen any severe thunderstorm warnings or tornado warnings pop up yet, but that doesn't mean we won't see severe weather. That just means things haven't gotten, intense just yet. We're just gonna have to wait till the evening hours today before things will really start to ramp up more. So just keep that in mind. And hopefully things don't get worse, but it's definitely a possibility though. And just to look at the models one more time, let's go ahead and go over the ARRR model one more time so that way you guys understand about what's going to be going on. So if we look at the ARRR model again, you guys can see that we will be tracking some pretty good showers and thunderstorms rolling on through as we get into the evening hours for today. And so we will need to keep an eye on that area very closely, as I do think some of those areas will at least be under the gun for some pretty big storms, like I said. So definitely something, like I said, to really keep an eye on very closely, as we're going to have some of that rolling on through. Let's see, we're going to select a different one, actually. There we go. And so yeah, we'll definitely watch it as widespread heavy rainfall across southern Indiana, much of the state of Kentucky, and as well as southern Illinois, southeast Missouri, and as well as western Tennessee will all be under the gun for some pretty big storms, and we might even see some widespread damaging winds with this line as it even starts pushing on into Tennessee, Kentucky, and even areas as far down south as Alabama. And like I said, we're mainly just waiting to see when storms will pop up. And I'm hoping, like I said, I'm hoping that storms, won't get going till the evening hours today. But like I said, we will definitely be here for you if some of the storms do start to pop up some more. So we'll keep an eye on it, like I said. But I don't want to be live for too long though, especially because I actually got some evening plans for today. I just wanted to try to go live to help you guys get the word out to everyone and to also make sure you guys are prepared for this evening. I think a few more people will be live this evening, so you guys can probably stick around with them if you guys really need someone to keep you guys around, but hopefully everything doesn't get so bad, and I'm just hoping that everyone at least understands about what to expect. So yeah, and I think we've gone over most of that so far, and the only thing we're doing is we're just waiting for storms to start firing up, and those are going to be the storms that are going to be capable of producing damaging winds, large hail, and perhaps a strong tornado or two, but probably won't be till the evening hours where I'm going to be busy, so we might end this live stream pretty soon. But who knows though, we're just going to wait a little bit to see if thunderstorms start to become more severe. That's what we're going to be waiting for. And if you haven't liked and subscribed yet, make sure to do that, as it not only helps support the channel, but so that way we can help get the word out to everyone. But yeah, let's see. I'm not sure if there's very much to really go over from now on. We may need to watch for maybe a few strong to severe thunderstorms to pop up in the next hour or two. But for right now, though, nothing's really happening. And like I said, I really wish I could be here for it, but unfortunately, I am going to be busy this evening, which I still got a few hours. It's just that we already talked about mostly of what we wanted to go over. So hopefully, like I said, just hopefully we can really help, get the word out to everyone, and hopefully we can really help everyone stay safe out there today, as I do think a lot of severe weather is possible, including a potential tornado outbreak, but also life-threatening flooding, which you guys can see how we do have a rare high risk for flash flooding on the excessive rainfall outlook, especially areas from northwestern Tennessee all the way up there into central and eastern Kentucky. And when we do see waters get very high, especially given the fact that we're going to be seeing anywhere from 3 to 6 inches of rain in some areas in Kentucky, that's enough to sweep away a full-grown adult, and that's also enough to cause some widespread river flooding as well. So that's just to let you guys know how severe today could be, especially as we get into the evening hours today. But yeah, I think we're actually gonna try to stay live till we reach that hour point. But like I said, we gone over most of what we wanted to go over, and I haven't seen any big time thunderstorms firing up just yet. But once again, by the time we do get to the window where storms will likely become strong, that probably will be this evening when I'm going to be very busy. But like I said, you guys can probably be with a different person, so that way you guys can at least stay safe out there. And just in case I do go live, do a community post or something like that, I'll probably at least do something this evening, as I may have a little bit of time, but I'm still not sure. But just in case I do something, make sure to turn on all notifications. Mm. I also heard that Daytona 500 was also going on. I'm not sure if that was today or tomorrow. Let me go ahead and look that up. Actually, forgot to show you guys that, just in case you guys didn't know. Daytona 500 2025. Okay, let's see. It looks like that's tomorrow at 1:30 p.m. Central Time. So it's not today, it's tomorrow, it looks like. So, and it looks like that's going to be in the Daytona Beach area. So we're going to go ahead and look ahead to see what the weather will be like in Daytona Beach, because that's where the Daytona 500 is going to be tomorrow afternoon. So let's go ahead and check that out. I'm kind of surprised because we have not talked about that yet. But anyway, though, if we take this forward into tomorrow, it looks like we're going to have some showers and even a few thunderstorms ongoing in the Daytona 500 area, which will be down there towards Daytona Beach. So we'll definitely need to keep an eye on it very closely, as it does look like we could be seeing some showers, possibly even a few isolated thunderstorms around, as this line of storms is even going to push on through Florida, which could bring a little bit of severe weather, as tomorrow we do have a slight risk for severe weather across the panhandle of Florida. And even though it doesn't look like we have a risk for severe storms down there in the Daytona Beach area, we will still likely have some stronger storms around, potentially bringing chances for not only an isolated tornado, but also for damaging winds, which looks to be the biggest concern, and also for potentially a little bit of small hail. But overall, though, it looks like the main concern is going to be chances for damaging winds tomorrow, as we'll still have a little bit of severe weather ingredients lingering from today. But it also depends on how the storms use up the ingredients, because if we don't end up seeing severe storms for today, a lot of that ingredients could be used tomorrow. But if we experience a much more intense line of thunderstorms today from Texas all the way up there, all the way up there into the lower Ohio Valley, that means we could be seeing, less severe storms tomorrow, given the fact that we won't have as much energy left. So it's mainly going to depend on what we see today, which will determine on what we see tomorrow. So make sure to keep that in mind. So make sure to keep that in mind, guys, as we get into tomorrow, especially if you're going to be going to the Daytona 500, which will be down there in Daytona Beach. So make sure to keep that in mind. But yeah, let's see here. I know that was another thing to go over, just so that you guys knew what was happening down there in Florida. And we could even be seeing a little bit of severe weather up the East Coast, but once again, it's especially going to be down there in Florida tomorrow. And it doesn't look like we have seen any tornado warnings just yet. Nope, no tornado warnings in effect just yet. But once again, though, as we do get into the evening hours for today, that's when we're going to have that squall line rolling on through. And that will even include areas as far down south as even Alabama. Yep, pretty good line of showers and thunderstorms heading from Kentucky all the way down there into Alabama and New Orleans. So that's going to be our biggest concern for today. It's just that we still have a while to go, like I said, and I apologize if I won't be live there today, because like I said, I'm going to be very busy, but I'm at least glad I'm able to help get the word out to all of you guys. That's what matters. And I'm also really interested on what may be going on next week, because if we get a big snowstorm, I might even be going live for a snowstorm next week for the first time, I think. Yeah, I think this would be the first time going live for a big time winter storm on my channel, because I don't remember very many times that I've been live for a big time winter storm. So I might end up doing that next week, depending on how it plays out. So I would recommend clicking all notifications and subscribing to the channel, as I might go live for the winter storm next week, as even the European model does really show the chances for some pretty good winter storms next week, as you guys can see. I meant to click up here, yeah. Does show some pretty good chances for snowfall across the lower Ohio Valley, including southern Illinois, southern Indiana, and much there Kentucky, potentially seeing over a foot of snowfall. So that's why we have a chance of going live for this next week, as some areas could see over a foot of snow. And that will be as we get into Wednesday and Thursday of next week, by the way. So that's why. But yeah, I'm going to try to be live for just a little bit longer, and if we don't see any storms pop up from now on, I'm going to end this live stream pretty soon. And once again, if we don't see any storms pop up from now all the way till the early evening hours, then I will, you know, end this live stream. But if it doesn't, be like that and we really do see those storms pop up, then we will continue to stay live. But that's only if the storms start becoming severe in the next few minutes, which it doesn't look like that's going to happen as of right now. Despite some thunderstorms ongoing in Arkansas, we're still watching these little baby storms. Let's see, and it looks like we may be seeing a little bit of thunderstorms, like I said, even popping up there towards Greenville, but this is just the very start of it. And like I said, we haven't seen any thunderstorms become severe yet. Like I said, we're going to stay live just a little bit longer to see if any of these storms become severe. Otherwise, I'm going to be ending this live stream pretty soon. And like I said, I am going to be busy this evening, unfortunately, as I am going to be going somewhere. But I hope you guys at least understand what to do, as even Ryan Hall y'all should be live for this. But yeah, let's see, we're almost at that hour point. So I think we're gonna end this live stream in just a few minutes. If you guys have anything else to leave down in the chat, make sure to leave it right now. If you guys have any more questions, comments, or concerns, leave down in the chat, and I'll even give you guys a weather forecast if you guys need. And of course I'll even try to do a community post or two if I got a little bit of time this evening. But like I said, I won't be having any time to go live, unfortunately. So if you guys got any questions, make sure to leave them right now before we end this live stream. And like I said, guys, we will try to keep you guys up to date on the system. If we got anything major going on later this evening, we will let you guys know by doing that off of my community post. So make sure to turn on all notifications so that way you guys don't miss out on those, as I will still keep you guys up to date. But like I said, I won't have time to go live, unfortunately, but still consider doing that. And also like and subscribe as well, as it not only helps support the channel a lot, but it's also also much appreciated. And I hope you guys all have a great rest of your Saturday out there, and as well as a great rest of your weekend. Make sure to follow everything that I said throughout the video so that way you guys know what to do. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your Saturday, and we will see you in the next one. And make sure to like and subscribe if you know already.